the book that they have. And then here is, I know you said you had.
I just printed this out. Yeah.
Okay.
Is it all the same?
Yeah. So that's the facilitator guide.
Yeah. I'll just use this. That way I don't have to dig in again.
10:20. Oh, I feel bad. My closing is at 10 tomorrow. I know I did not plan that day.
Yeah. No, it's
And I
okay.
didn't click the wrong thing because I might have been talking and then I clicked on it. The whirlwind.
All right.
And good for you for showing up to training. Because I feel like even if you learn one thing, makes you more prepared to not be practicing on your phone.
Yeah. The first two that I asked because I thought I was coming to tonight.
Okay.
Then I was sitting there. I was like, this is a lot of good information because they had like these type of panel. They had a panel.
Oh,
I came back from
yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is nice. Like, this is a cool thing.
Thank you.
You're all set to go.
You're the best. Now that the flu is come and gone, I'll have to fight you. Right? Is it come and gone?
Oh yeah, I was worried that I was gonna get sick after 15 because I got all sick.
But you're
But
young.
I didn't. Well, I was sick in January, so
You think you already had it?
I had to go in January though. So I had the antibiotics.
There you go, right? Good stuff. All right. Do I just click the screen?
Yeah.
Every time? Welcome to Ignite. Awesome. Hidden slide. So this is session 12, and we're going to talk about strengthening relationships. Now the disclaimer. Two. So we always have to go over all of the compliance about do not call lists and stuff like that. So I was given strict instructions in the manual to read all of it. But you must comply with the TCPA and any other federal state laws, business to business calls and texts, and never call someone not on the do not call list, or that is on the do not call list. Have they been going over this every time? Quickly?
Yeah.
Okay. Find the do not call list. If you don't know how, someone can help you. Spam and copyrights. So we started at being a real estate expert this first 4 classes, and you had a good bunch there about lead generation. And then this is the 3rd one for lead follow-up. So you did make it to the last one? Awesome. Yes. With the follow-up with the leads. So a few more left. So for today's agenda, we are going to, well, let's back up. So in 11, you discovered the tools for converting your leads into contacts for profitable business. So you get a lead, convert to contact, and then you convert them to someone under contract. Today in this 3rd session of the lead follow-up, strengthening relationships, will extend your knowledge to include follow-up with contacts and explore the tools you can leverage to make follow-up systematic. So when you're more systematic, you can kind of set it and forget it kind of idea. Before we begin, let's hear about your progress with the success system. So that is something that went over in section 11. And
The bill success.
yeah.
Okay, so I got there with my conversation and social media.
Awesome. We'll go over this again a little bit today.
Okay.
So I think ideally they do to keep this. So they want you to track how many conversations that you had out of 10, because they want you to do 10 blank contacts added So let's say you talk to Stacy Smith gives you her new address, and her, email address. So you would then add her into your contacts, which we have command, which is part of our, fees that we pay to Keller Williams International. So definitely make sure you're using that. 10 handwritten notes, blank of how many of those 10 did you do today? And then the social media engagement. So it sounds like you're doing pretty well with that. But it's really fun when you start tracking it.
Yeah.
Then you can see what actually worked. Because people have that, like, oh, where do you get your business from? Well, if you never tried it, it's kind of hard to recall what's working for you. So if something's working well for you, you wanna get better at it.
Now, as far as concepts, it would be just, like, we're talking about leads, not just people that we are.
Right. Yep, so it'd be someone that you, made a contact with.
From a lead.
Yeah. Yep, not just going through your own, I mean, if you follow up with them and talk to them, then yes, but not just going through your contacts and adding people. Like you actually made a connection with them. Cool, good question. Let's see. Let's sort out, so, how many contacts did you think you made on social media?
I haven't made.
Just kind of, getting better at participating. Good. Um, Okay, so this is all about everybody reporting out their numbers, so we can scoot along on that one. So we are gonna go over establishing your mindset. So before you make your text messages on social media or your calls, getting your mindset right, identifying your goals. So how many out of the 10, right? Your goal would be 10, and devising a plan. We'll do a little recap with some ahas, and then go over that daily success system again. So awesome. I gotta remember to go off of the papers too. I just kind of roll with it. Okay. So by the end of today, you'll be able to do these 4 things. Apply follow-up principles for leads to contacts. So like you were saying, leads and then it turns into a contact. Create a 36 to convert touch plan, or we say 36 touch. Design and use MOPR messages that generate interest. We'll go over MOPRs more. It's just an acronym. Develop a strategy to grow the number of contacts in your database. Did you say database or database? Database. I know. I always want to do like a poll on that. So, think about what we'll learn today. Let's consider what questions you might have and what you'd like to learn more about. Just saying what the agenda was. Do any of those necessarily pique your interest? And your, like, which one of these do I not understand?
You mean like from the agenda?
Yeah. Mhm.
I don't even remember all that was on there.
I don't even know. See, I'm probably on the wrong page.
They don't tell you what page you're supposed to be on. Go through. All right. Well, that's all right. So what mindset do you think we need to be in to adapt and successfully nurture relationships with our contacts?
Positive, optimistic.
And what was the last one?
Optimistic.
Optimistic. Yeah, for sure. So people work with the agent whose emotional proximity to them is the strongest at the time that they are ready to transact. So I'll say that again. People work with the agent whose emotional proximity to them is the strongest at the time they are ready to transact. So kind of like what you have in common with someone, or if they just like what you're, let's say like what you're posting, for instance, and they're relating to you, they're like, okay, I know that I'm at this emotional state and I'm going to connect to someone also at that level. So if you want positive clients and you're exuding that positivity and you're on that level with your vibe, that's the kind of people you'll attract. But as real estate agents, we cannot control when that moment happens. People will be ready to buy or sell on their own timeline. So what can we control? We can influence our emotional proximity to the people in our world through our follow-up by controlling the frequency and intensity of our follow-up. Let's start that conversation about mindset by thinking about how leads and contacts differ. So this is the leads versus contacts. You start with your database, it's the big pool, and then you have leads that forms from a relationship, and they turn into a contact when you are able to have more of a real estate conversation with them. So a lead, for instance, if they maybe a lead at an open house, they just gave you their info, but you haven't talked to them in any detail. Maybe they just gave you their phone number. And when you text them with a touch plan, you will be able to convert them and strengthen that relationship, whether you're sending them articles, getting them up on a custom portal. That's going to turn them into a contact when they start talking back and forth with people. And then from there, you're preparing that contact to convert them into an actual transaction for you. So needs-based offerings, we always say come from value. So if you're showing them value. So leads, that's more like that one-way conversation, like I was saying, and then it's a two-way conversation that becomes a contact. And then also that value-based relationship has been established. Maybe you invited them to a buyer seminar here as your guest, and they come. So in Shift, which is a very popular book here at Keller Williams, written by Gary Keller, his GK and his writing team remind us of three things that lead to growth. The first two are thinking steps. First, we need to have clarity around our goals and our priorities, and then we get into action. So know that growth comes from clarity, priorities, and focused action. But that I already thinking of myself. You've seen it before, and that model that we saw is called the lead generation model. So signing out. You have been signed out. Jen. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe something was like auto set up. So you've seen that before in the Ignite session 11. You recall that kind of funnel. As a reminder, we prospect and market to bring leads and contacts into our database. So how do we define the difference between a lead and a contact? You're the only one here, I'm sorry.
So, someone that you, well, there's one way to make it.
Yep.
And a contact is someone established that to the invitation. And this one says, there was no background. You established that, that wanted to submit.
Interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting
Yep. And have them in your database. Yep, for sure. That's good. Okay. 8. All right, so we all intend to be successful, and as real estate professionals, success is built on relationships. As one top agent said from the stage of a Red Tech Talk, focus on building relationships and take market share. So market share would be like your fair share of business, basically, buyers and sellers. All right, so we have this watering can just in time for spring. Today's conversations are tomorrow's transactions. This is not in my notes, but they say what you're doing 3 months prior kind of leads you to a sale 3 months later, or converting someone 3 months later. So whatever you're doing in your business 3 months prior, it really starts to show up 3 months down the road. Okay. Oh, what? She's got me all messed up. Now I do have to get her. Pause. I think that's okay. It's on over here, but that one flipped off. Yeah. All right, so you focus on building relationships and you take market share. We'll just kind of keep talking and then we'll catch up with that. And yeah, that one was on, but this one.
Yeah, I think because Peyton's trying to connect to the TV out there,
Oh,
so I think it accidentally.
a different HDMI or something. So let's establish a mindset around follow-up with our clients. If your database is a garden, then your leads are the seeds and your contacts are plants. And conversion is your harvest. So we have leads are seeds, contacts are plants, and conversion is your harvest. Conversion is when you're actually making a sale. What do you think about the expression on the slide? Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction. And how does that affect your mindset? When I mentioned the 3 months, what do you think about that? Today's conversation is tomorrow's transaction.
I think that is definitely true because everything takes time. And you're sowing the seeds. So
Yeah.
3 months ago, we were sowing the seeds of water. See the harvest 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah. Does that seem like a long time? No. Sometimes people come to real estate and they're like, I'm ready. How do I spend a month? Am I closing my deal? See if this works. Chill with you. Maybe this. No. Okay. I don't get to chill with you. How do you make sure that you'll have a harvest? So when you actually convert that sale, how do you make sure that you'll have a harvest large enough to fund your big life? So it's a big phrase here at Keller Williams is being able to fund your big life. Even if somebody says, oh, I don't need money. I have enough money. I'm a trustworthy. Yeah. But you have enough money. I don't need it. And sometimes people will say that. I just want to do a couple sales a year. Okay, but if you had a bigger life or a bigger goal, dream big, who else would you be able to help? Maybe you have enough for yourself and retirement, helping your family, but do you have a dream in your heart to maybe volunteer, donate a significant amount to like big brothers, big sisters, or your church, or you could always give more if you're making more. So kind of a little bit about, is your harvest large enough to fund your big life? Like my big life now is being able to help my grandma and go see her and whatever. I don't have to work 50 hours a week. Yeah, I make enough money based on what hours I work that I can take the day off and be with her, like yesterday. So let's it says explain the follow-up techniques they learned in session 11, and how you extend that from a lead to a contact. And in session 11, we discussed how we connect with leads to uncover their motivations and gain their information. So ultimately make an appointment and help them with a real estate transaction. So I think I'm ahead of again.
I think that. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm back on track. I see where I am now. Awesome. So we gotta water our seeds. And then we'll get the plant. And then we'll get the harvest. So Gary Keller says on page 81 of the Shift book, once you meet your new contacts, you either do with them immediately or you don't. Either way, once you've met them, you put them in your database and stay in touch with them forever. So this is the second C of our Y4C2Ts. It's just an acronym here at Keller Williams. In action. So commitment to all things, that is that C. We're committed to staying in emotional proximity with our contacts. So when I think of emotional proximity to your virtual self, your social media self should be a duplicate of you in your daily life. So if you're posting something once a day, you know, it could be a reflection of yourself as a whole for that day or for the, you know, people should start to get to know you. Like if you like yoga, every now and then you're going to post some yoga because you actually do yoga.
Right.
You know, I don't climb mountains, so I don't post about climbing mountains. So in order to be successful at nurturing relationships, we must understand our goals. So I'm going to click this next slide. So identifying our goals. We've already talked about mindset a little. We'll talk about that a little bit more too. And then in identifying our goals, we have the lead generation. We're adding in lead follow-up and then getting to the transaction. So lead follow-up plus conversion. So converting your contacts to closed business. So this is how we're going to identify our goals. So how much business do you want? You basically work it backwards. So take it. I already went past the graph. Go back. Go back. Nope. Not gonna let me go back. There we go. Yeah. So taking a look at this graph and compare it to the wave graph where every person in your database is on the wave of being ready to buy. In this graph, we have lead generation phase on the left where you're gathering and storing leads rather quickly. And in fact, you can generate leads in days or weeks. On the right end of the graph, you're busy with the transaction process, which can last 2 weeks to 2 months. So 2 weeks, say like I got them under contract. We found something, got them under contracts, and they closed, probably a cash deal. 2 months, maybe it took a while to find something for them. And you're closing within those 60 days. So how long is the lead follow-up phase? Do you recall how many years it is between buying homes on average? So how many years basically does someone stay in a home before they buy their next home? Yeah. Was that in the last class? Yeah. Yeah, and you're taking it all in. So that's exactly right. 7 to 10 years. So does it make sense how important lead follow-up is, especially since it could take up to 10 years for someone to convert with you again? Lead follow-up implies lead conversion as well. So you're always querying whether the person is ready to meet for a real estate need. Lead follow-up plus lead conversion is the path to a signed contract and a transaction. Yeah, so that's where it dropped down. Lead follow-up, I just said that. Of course, leads who express an immediate interest in your services are more likely to be ready to convert in an appointment right away. These are the golden leads. If it's a listing, we call it a come listing. Like, hi, I need to sell my house. Can you come over this Saturday and help me? Or a buyer, I'm ready to start talking about buying. They're ready. So the goal from session 11 was to convert leads to appointments. And then we learned not every lead is able, ready, and willing to meet. When we encounter folks who are not ready for an appointment, we use follow-up to stay in contact until they're ready for that appointment. So if you had to guess, how many times or how times have, that's a typo, that's why I'm confused. How many times have you agreed to be in someone's database when you were not ready to make a purchase? Include all the times you signed up for an email list or text message for a discount code and you never even used it. So I'll give you a little bit of time to think about that. So like, I know for me, anytime I see like, oh, 10% off your first order, and I'm like, oh boy, well, I just want to look, but I'll go ahead and say I want the 10% off because I know that they're going to send me a follow-up email. I expect that. So what would you say? So raise your hand if you've ever signed up for one of those email lists or text message lists for a discount code. Hi, Alex, how are you? Good, good. We're raising our hand if we've ever signed up for a discount code. Like an email or a text, like if you want 10%. Yeah. So we're gonna keep our hands up and then lower your hand if you've only done that one time, ever. Lower your hand if you've done it less than 5 times. Okay, lower your hand if you've done this less than 10 times. Where's the chocolate?
Right, like that's like
Right, 10 times. That's easy. It's like the last 3 months.
Right.
Lower your hand if you've done this less than 20 times. I'm probably around there somewhere.
I was talking about the month or the
Ever.
life.
And life, right? Everyone, lower your hand.
Yeah.
So kind of just goes to show you how often you were saying, I am thinking about being a client for you or to you. So like what kind of services do you think if you signed up for stuff like that? Did you purchase or not purchase?
Oh, definitely. Just like online shopping. And so if you go onto the
Any
website,
kind of online
yeah.
shopping.
As far as like, I'll say probably.
Yeah. A car or like something big or furniture.
Yeah. Or electronics or something.
Yeah.
You have to sign up online, create an account or something.
Yeah.
You know, they get your information if you're coming.
And you know it's gonna happen.
Yeah, you know it's gonna happen.
You know it's gonna happen. Whether it's once a month or, I mean, I feel like I'm getting a couple emails a day for some of these things. That's why I have I have an old Hotmail account that I send that kind of stuff to. It's like, the company name. So, let's see. So eventually, you know, you bought from these people or companies that contacted you over and over and over. And then, so what does that tell you about follow-up? The more you're in front of people, the more likely you are to transact. So quality and frequency of the follow-up is often going to make a big difference. So the joke in springtime, for instance, is like the old spring your clock forward, like that's so dated. That doesn't show value to people. They're like, we don't need to do that anymore. Our phones just spring for us. We all know. And if you don't, the next day you're like, feel a little tired, and eventually you'll figure it out. So that's what they're saying, that quality of the follow-up too. But we do have a lot in common with our contacts. And if our contacts get quality messages from us, like a MOFR, that is going to be a make an offer for immediate response. Make offer for immediate response, MOFR. So they're likely to respond, and then we are more likely to get some closed business from that. Oh, okay, we're not there yet. Good. And now we're here. I was too far. So we talked about mind share. So getting mind share from our people, our contacts, our social media, our database. So before, how important it is converting leads to contacts and contacts to appointments. So let's take a look at these stats. The NAR stats. So these are from the National Association of Realtors. You'll get real used to a lot of the acronyms for real estate. NAR is a big one. So this is saying your mind share positioning. So number of agents interviewed before choosing an agent. So with the seller, they're either interviewing one agent, two agents, or more, but 74% only interviewed one agent. And then 15% interviewed two, and then everyone else means they interviewed more than two agents. With buyers, very similarly, only one agent, two agents, and then everyone else. So I'm actually shocked that they're so similar. What do you think about the numbers? Like how well correlated they are?
I find it shocking. Well, for me, it just kind of just lets me know that it's important how you are presenting the first time, showing up the first time, because I'm more than likely to get seller fired.
Yeah.
Just being the first one.
Yeah.
Showing up. Yeah, showing up and presenting well. And I'm more shocked about buyers, because I would think as a buyer, you would want to, interview more than one seller. I mean, more than one agent to make sure that you choose the right one.
Yeah.
Versus a seller.
Yeah, you're going into empty houses with this person.
Yeah, and you got to, you want to trust them that they're going to represent you.
Yeah.
Right.
See, and I always sellers are going to be more picky.
About the best guy.
Yeah, because it's the person, their sign is in their yard, you know, and that's stuff. Well, neither are wrong, but yeah, it's interesting that they're so similar. So basically, what does that say? You know, we need to be top of mind. So when buyers and sellers think of real estate, that they think of you. That is the definition of mind share. You're taking up, what did it say? Hey, rent free out there. I'm rent free in your head. So that's where we want to be, rent free in our database's head. So do you remember an earlier conversation of how many real estate databases each of your leads and contacts are in section 11? Well, think about it. How many different real estate databases are you in? So how many realtors or companies are emailing you? Have you ever visited a competitor's site and then started getting the emails and texts and perhaps a call from them? Like if I'm starting to look at planning a vacation, then just boom, 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 multiple times a day, they're hitting me. Like Airbnb is constantly sending me messages after I showed interest.
Yeah.
So bingo, you're in other real estate databases, just like your sphere of influence, or we call it a SOI, along with everyone else in your database. So it naturally follows the goal number 2 of nurturing our relationships with our contacts to stay top of mind. So naturally follows the goal number 2 of nurturing our relationships. The data shows that most sellers and buyers only interview one agent before choosing someone to work with. That means that if I'm not the first name that comes to mind when a contact thinks about real estate, I'm probably not who they're going to work with when they're ready to transact. So they want me to share an example, which is always fun. We usually follow up to top line. So most of my transactions are from building a relationship. I don't pay for leads. And that's not saying paying for leads is bad. It's just not how I naturally do the best. So for me, keeping up with someone for a long period of time, so one thing I do is I always become Facebook friends or Instagram, but usually Facebook first, with people that I'm working with. So even while I'm working with them, as soon as I get in contact, I'm finding them on social media. Sometimes they like me.
Yeah.
So basically, even by the time I close, I'm still gonna be social media connected with people I transact with. So let's say I have a first time home buyer, they're probably not stayed in their house 7 to 10 years. I'm just gonna be honest. They're gonna grow out of it within a handful of years. So 3, 4, 5, maybe even 2 sometimes. And if they're younger, their job maybe changed and they make more money now and they're just ready, or they want to move to a different side of town. So basically, I'm trying to think of anything, but I have people that I transact with, become friends with them on social media, and even if they're not commenting or liking or anything, they always, when they circle back to work with me again, then they're like, "Oh, I just saw that you went on your honeymoon. How was Mexico?" And I'm like, it just, when you hear people tell you that they're still seeing your stuff, it's a touch, even though you didn't even directly know that they were interested.
Right.
So that's why I love video, because it shows you how many views you've had.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard with just a post.
I think it's crazy because I see how many views out there. I'm like, maybe with that.
You're like, and for that video?
Yeah. Or when you see the interactions.
Yeah.
And, I guess, because normally it's like they say, like, the interactions that you have, or the reactions, I'm sorry. The reactions, I guess, matter more than the views. Or is it the views
Oh.
matter more than
Oh, like if they like commented or like
it or like something.
or share. Yeah, I think the interaction is more
Important.
yes. Yeah, because of you, they're just looking for a while. They didn't click on anything. So it's like, imagine you just looked at an ad. It's not going to be that it'll kind of clock how long you looked at it. But if you click, they know you're more interested. So that's more important.
Right.
Right. But I mean, I'd have countless things, come list me. I didn't even know. And then they were like, well, we want to move back to Louisville because this was an agent to agent referral I got years ago. So I helped them buy, and then they were ready to sell, and I sold that baby about $500,000. That's fun.
Oh, the same house?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was like 4 years later. And they just wanted to move back to Louisville and be closer with family because now they had two boys.
Mhm.
When they first bought, they were just married. They didn't have kids yet. And yeah, so then COVID and all the things, and having their second one, they're like, it'd be a lot easier if we were around some family. So life changes. All right, well, that's my anecdote. Hopefully that was helpful. But they never interact with anything on my social media. They just don't. They're not those kind of people. But that's a big way that we stay connected. So, all right. Well, make sure. Easy to get out of order here. There we go. Okay. Well, I should have stapled these. I always say not to staple that. Okay. So our clients never stop being contacts. They're always going to be in there. So we continue to nurture our relationship with them even after the transaction to remain in emotional proximity and help them share our value proposition. So remaining in emotional proximity is basically where you align with people. If you're a mom and you're posting something about something your kid just did, then they're going to relate with you. Be like, oh, I remember when Sammy used to do that, stick stuff in the toilet. Like, of you asked a friend who they'd go to when looking for a new physician, a new hairstylist, a tailor, or a restaurant to try. So how many of you have asked a friend? So you're asking them for a referral. Hey, who do you like to, who's your seamstress? Who does your hair? I really love your hair. Who did your eyebrows? I've done that. Who does your eyebrows? So we've all asked for referrals, right? For important purchases of goods and services, it's really natural to seek personal recommendations. So your contacts, especially the ones who have bought or sold with you, they're a great source for future leads. So you create a raving fan out of someone that you transacted with, and they become a lead source for you. They start referring people to you. So I have another one, young couple, now they're on their second child. They referred their previous nanny to me. Yeah, so, yeah.
When you put it that way, when you just said, like, you know, we asked about hair,
Yeah.
and people are ready to, you know, give you their contact. It's the same experience. I guess I just always felt it's been hard for me to get out of that, like that mind frame, that sphere would be able to really advocate for me, I guess, because I feel like I have to work harder as a realtor because you're selling something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you have to. I don't have to prove yourself more. Is what I'm trying to say.
Because it's a big transaction.
Yeah, versus like if you know, because if somebody does your hairdresser, it speaks for itself. People see it. You know, like, see like, oh, we go there. Versus like a house, I feel like it's harder.
Yeah. Well, you still saw they only meet with one agent. So if they find a way that they value you and they know that they trust you. So in a previous life, I was in fine dining. So they knew I gave really great service. And I was really good at that. And I've been a realtor for now 8 years, but you know, whatever. So you've been a realtor and you're showing up on social media and you're posting your open house and you're talking about writing offers. Like, they don't know that you've never sold anything yet or whatever, you know. They just see that you're doing the work, that you're a student, that you're out there doing things.
Right.
They don't know what's happening out of it,
Right.
you know. So I'm always like, anytime you can organically be doing something and then share it, they start to pay attention, and then they start to see you as the real estate agent that's top of mind.
Right.
You know. Does that help? Cool. Yeah, like I have a hair gal, but I know who my second best is, you know, because I watch social media. I don't go with her one time.
Right.
But my other gal is on maternity leave.
Yeah.
But, you know, I know who I'm going to if I can, you know. But all we do is interact through social media. We're not in like book club or we don't do yoga or anything together. It's just social media. So if you're top of mind because you continue to follow up and give them amazing customer service, they'll think of you first when someone asks them for real estate advice. So social media again, if someone's like, oh, my gutter is falling down, they may not think to text you or call you, but if they post it, you should interact as if you sold in the house or not, or you know, you interacting and saying, and then if you don't, you just come to us and hey, who's everybody's best gutter person? And then you go and get it. Yeah. So there's always like you're just always, or just Google some companies that have good ratings. But that's just an example of, you know, they're asking for real estate advice and they're putting their hand up like, hey, I need help. And that's how you become that person that's top of mind. So in fact, in 2021, NAR, the National Association of Realtors, found that 47% of buyers who used an agent were referred to them by a friend, a neighbor, a relative, and that number jumps to 57% for first-time home buyers. So you should be that recommendation. First-time home buyers, they have never even worked with anybody. So if that jumps up to 57%, they trust that person worked with them or knows them and trust them, and they refer them to them. You need do we need a break or anything? You good?
Oh, no.
You're good? So leveraging Mindshare for referral business. I think you just had an aha, but that was a good aha. In sales, I like to think that people get in their own way. So real estate is sales. And you try to future cast what's gonna happen, and that's where fear sets in and anxieties. Because we're trying to think about what could happen in the future. And we're just wired to think negatively. It's almost it's impossible to not think negative thoughts. It's just what you put out there through your actions and your words that's positive, but we're always gonna think negative thoughts. Like I've battled that in the past. Like, how do I stop thinking like that?
Right.
And you can't. That's our chemistry.
And it's because for this experience, it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so we're devising a plan. And at the beginning, I said we're gonna go over, 4 things. So now we're gonna start devising some of these plans. And basically, we already know how important lead follow-up is and how you can use the 19 to connect and 1 to submit plans to connect with leads from sessions 10 and 11. Did you make it to 10?
Yes.
19 to connect and 1 to submit. So let's talk about how you can use the 36 to convert plan, so a new plan, to stay in contact long-term and gain benefit of clients and the referrals from your database. I'm stapling. Let's run the stapler right. See, we learn by doing.
Right.
Good to out. Okay. I like to teach the same class. It's for it to become a little more fluid. Okay. All right, so touch plans, or in Keller Williams, we call them smart plans. Have you heard of smart plans yet? Okay. I got my laptop. It's good. You're the only one. It's not good. So I'll be sitting on my couch or something, and we have 2 Australian shepherds for our puppy. She's really good. So all this is like all slaughter. Because he takes his head and he's like, "Hey, what you doing?" Yeah, he peeks around. So you've already created a foundation for a 36 to convert when you design your 19 to connect touch plan last session. So that 19 connect to review 4 touches with quarterly phone calls. What could be a phone call that you would make 1 quarter?
Just to check in and see honestly, like if there's no likes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know you're looking for lower rates, and I don't know what that magic number is for you, but I'm noticing a lot more buyers are jumping at looking again because the rates are below 6.5. And they haven't been below 6.5 in over a year. Would you like me to reconnect you with that lender? It's a call to action.
Right.
Get you started again? No, that was really good. So different touches, 12 touches with like newsletters, a monthly email, a market report or video, 2 touches just for direct mail, such as like a magnet, calendar, printed market report. And then 1 touch will be one of your annual events that Carson gets together. Our office does some of those annual events, so you don't have to create all of the marketing and everything. Like Pi Day, right before Thanksgiving, is a big one for me and my husband. We rent our clubhouse and people just come to us and we make chili and do some giveaways and stuff. No, we pay for the pies
Okay.
for your RSVPs, your marketing, so you can put it on your social media. So they give you all of your marketing materials. Yeah. Okay. So how will you know what your contacts value? What they think is valuable? Right? Just come on, ask. Do a poll.
Oh, yeah.
I like the directness. So we use the 4 telephone calls that we were just talking about, so quarterly, and those are going to deepen relationships, gather information on what messages are connecting in the market at the moment. So, like I said, my clients, Allison and George, they didn't really interact with anything on my social media, but maybe when they finally did reach out, and I'd be like, oh, did you see the statistics I posted about the spring market? And then they say, yeah, I did. Honestly, I was really thinking that it was going to be harder to sell this spring, but when you posted that, it got us off the fence and thought maybe now's the right time. Good. Sometimes I never know if people see my social media or not, and I just want to make sure that I put good, valuable stuff out there for you. Thanks for the feedback. So those monthly or those quarterly calls, it's not on here, but I have an education chair, so we're talking about some classes, and one of it's going to be the Ford method, family, awareness, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So, well, not really. It's relationship building. So family is easy again to just be like, hey, Allison, I saw that Teddy had his first day in kindergarten. I love that picture of him because it just reminds me of when I was in kindergarten. It was such a fun day. How did you do? Were you okay?
Right.
You know, so that's family.
Okay.
So if I know your son's name, right? And then, oh, how's your other little guy doing? What's he up to now? I know Teddy's in school, but did you send to school or not? Are you keeping him at home?
So you can use that.
Okay. Yeah, and you have their band open in your database and you're filling in. Well, yeah, he actually just had his second birthday and Archie, so you're taking your notes on his name's Archie. And his birthday is March 1st. So then you can start creating things to show value and make connecting with them. Sending his birthday cards, stuff like that. Most adults either love their kids or they love their grandkids or they love their pet. You know, so if you can relate to them emotionally on some level, they're going to connect with you. All right, so talked about the one to cement. That's just a high value touch that solidifies a relationship. You just establish and opens the door for future interactions. Now the 36 to convert, that's still the 4 touches. We now have 26 touches biweekly with email or some type of information of value. And then 2 touches is again events, parties, get-togethers. But now we have 4 touches with promotional direct mail, magnets, like Red's calendars are big this time of year. But you can always just do a postcard. But something that they can, this is a little bit more tangible item. Okay, make sure. I'm on the round page. Oh, okay. And then I was talking about, we're like, how will you know what's of value? And you're like, well, I would just ask them. So we went into that example. And then that response rate that you get to different message content provides information you need so you know what's working and what people are ignoring, and so that you can use them in your marketing campaigns. So like if I share something like a statistic and I'm getting a lot of interaction on it, then I know people are really into that right now. Just posting something about the rates, everybody does that. like it's kind of played out, talking about the rates all the time. So if you can come up with something that's more unique that shows value and it'll stop the scroll, that's gonna stand out a lot more than talking about rates. Let's see, notice the overlap in touches between the 19 to connect and the 36 to convert. They're similar, right? So we have the 19 is starts with the same with the phone calls, but when you level up to the 36, because you want to convert them, 19 is just making sure you get that connection with them and you start making that a two-way conversation. But 36 to convert is to get actual business out of it. Right. So the more you're reaching out to someone, the more likely you are to convert rather than 19 just to connect.
So are you going to be using Ford with your contacts as much as you will with your leads?
More with the contacts. Leads, you don't know them. Maybe they clicked on your Keller Williams app and they were interested in a listing, and then they signed up. So you're not gonna call and you're not gonna text them and ask them about their job.
I would think it's they're just reaching out.
Yeah, leads, you're trying to find out what kind of service can you provide for them. Okay. And how you got that lead is probably gonna be your biggest way of knowing. So if they're clicking on a listing and it's in Oakley and you're like, oh, Sam Smith, I noticed that you like went to Main Street in Oakley. Are you looking to purchase in Oakley? Is there something that you like about Oakley the most? Or, so I also, and then whether they respond or not, I also noticed at the same price point in Oakley, there's this one, and you send them something like something valuable.
Right.
So then they kind of see you providing a service.
Okay. So would you start sending them stuff like that's going on in the neighborhood?
You totally could. Okay. Yeah. You can, if you have their email, then you start putting them on the 19 to connect plan.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you're just trying to get some type of a relationship with them, get them to interact back with you. And once they interact back with you, then you're working on converting them to work with you. That's good. So the 4 quarterly calls in your 19 to connect be the same calls that you use in a 36 to convert. So if you already have someone on a smart plan, those are those automated emails that we have for through Command and Keller Williams. To receive 2 promotional direct mail touches from your 19 to connect plan, you could just add 2 more to the existing plan to get 4 promotional direct mail touches. So they're just saying, if you already have them set up on this and you're gonna graduate them to this, you're just adding 3 here. You're adding, you can leave all this, but then add the difference. So if you already have it set up on once a month email, now you wanna change it to bi-weekly or keep them on that monthly email, but then add them to another 14 touch. Maybe it's like something set up for like a neighborhood nurture, like they their address, there's something where you can set up a neighborhood report, and it will just send them a report to put on. Yeah,
Be a part of it.
absolutely. The newsletters would be really fun if you're like want to be someone that provides value by showing like what county state parades there were and certain things going on around the city. Like the newsletter could be a really good way to do that. Okay. All right, so
So it's just the 4 phone calls of this for the year from their contacts.
yeah. And sometimes like, do you leave a message? And I'm like, I mean, if you know them well enough, leave a message. Hey, Sam, just reaching out um, to see how things are at your house. I recently had someone say that they needed a roofer, and it made me think of you because I know when you bought, you only had a few years left on the roof. So made me think of you. If there's anything I can ever help you with, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here. That's it. Like, you don't have to go through like a whole big old spiel and a voicemail, but just kind of come from a genuine place. Like, I thought about you, or I saw your post the other day. I know you just got back from vacation, but if you're going to catch up, call back. Now, if it's someone I don't know, like a for sale by owner, I don't leave a message. You show up in person instead. Yeah, you show up. All right, so we're gonna go over those first. And I actually sent myself a YouTube link because I was gonna thing to share some gophers. And here we go. So what is a gopher?
Buy on blue, sell on red. This new indicator gives extremely accurate trade signals. 8 out of 10 traders who have tried say indicator with power planning. It's a video here talks about a term that carried over again in the last 6 months or so. Is this term over? So if you're not familiar with that term, what a over is what it stands for is a offer for immediate response. A offer for immediate response. So let's think about this in another industry. Talk about real estate, but in another industry, let's say the car industry, right? Car industries are great at making offers. Think about it. They write a special that says, this is special for $2 a month. Come in and check out this car. So the point of the offer is to have them raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in that. That whatever it is, your response, right? I'm interested in what you're selling. And it raises the hand of the consumer. So their hope is that they inquire online, come into the dealership, all the dealers there is getting there to make a response. Think of another industry, the furniture industry, right? And so furniture industry will say, hey, 0% financing for 36 months. So their hope is that you raise their hand and you get a communication or relationship with them so they can either put you into that or it's just something else that they have. So let's think about it on the real estate industry and how that has traditionally worked. So the most traditional offer out there is, hey, what do you know what your house is worth? And that was a very, very traditional, give a free CMA and you're getting a relationship with the client and finding out where they're at in the process. And fast forward today, there's a whole new set of offers out there that as a real estate team, they're providing their clients and their team to get a relationship with providers. Some of the words that I'm saying out there are the iBuyer industry is a you want to sell your house with no hassle, we'll give you a free offer. They can offer for a year, right? Another way we're seeing out there is a program where you turn a regular buyer into a cash buyer, right? And so, hey, are you closing out of multiple offers? There's a solution for you, and it's a another one that we have is a rental program. Sell your house, live in there for 6 months, and then rent it back to us. That's getting an offer to buy your house, you can rent it back for 6 months, and reach out to us for more information. So if you're not ready to go through your industry, if you're real estate housing, I really encourage you to make your phone ring, it'll make your internet start producing more these big offers for immediate response. If you have any questions about offers and how to implement them in your business, feel free to reach out to me. Powered by Thanks.
Yeah, so he's not with Keller Williams or anything. It's on YouTube. And I thought, I really don't do a ton of Mofer, so that was motivating. Yeah. So he went from one Mofer saying that you give a free CMA, a comparative market analysis. So that's free, just takes your time, all the way up to we can buy your house and let you rent it for 6 months. So, you know, there's
Now, that would be like an investor or something.
yeah,
Okay, because I was like, that's something outside of.
my comfort zone. I'll buy the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So there's probably, I mean, I don't offer that either, but you know, I've seen people offer buy and sell with me. I'll pay to get your house clean
Okay.
and your move, either your new house or your listing.
To just add that, that site was hard to turn down. Honestly,
Yeah, or just I'm intrigued, like.
to hear more.
Mhm.
So you
So
know how we see those signs all over? It's like there's little signs that you see outside the road saying we buy houses or
for cash.
yeah or something.
And all.
Is that like the whole thing?
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah, I would buy for cash. So someone's curious, you know. Then they call them and they get a little offer. But yeah, so you're wanting to go for, I always get this one messed up, but you're motivating them to have action to respond. Right. So some examples would be, so some of these are in session 9 and the message and method. This awesome house came on market. If you're looking for a home in this neighborhood, call me right away. The call to action is just call me right away. Interest rates are the lowest ever. If you're considering buying now or thinking about refinancing, I can put you in touch with lenders who can work with you. So
this is my first time. Is it possible that you put a saving to over and some type of
like fair housing or
Yes.
something. So yes, if you offer something to one person, you should be offering it to everyone.
okay.
You know, like if you offer to, if someone lists and buys with you, that you provide them, you know, free house cleaning, you know, that you should offer that to everyone. I think otherwise it's considered an inducement, like to get someone to work or to buy a home, or so if you offer it to everyone, it's not inducing a sale.
Okay.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like if you say something
Might create a liability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I think it's real. I think it's a great way to.
Yeah.
That's just not.
Yeah. And some agents will do like a free housewarming party, or, you know, anybody who closes with them by August.
Okay.
Yeah, like I have a guy that has like a bunch of those bounce houses and stuff. He's actually a past client. And, I mean, current client, I keep in touch with him all the time. It's like, so if I bought and sold with you, is there a discounted rate? And I was like, commissions are always negotiable. Is this for you? Is it not?
Yeah.
And then the last one of an example they gave. Do you know about the price of homes in your neighborhood or any area of town? I thought just a report for you. Call, text, or visit my website to sign up. So that could be a text you send out. You get a link to your website. Okay. Develop your 36 touch plan. This is a larger section here, so turn to the develop your 36 touch plan page and your participant guide. So we're gonna take 10 minutes to work alone or with a partner and write down what your 36 touch plan will look like. So some examples could be, like in June is National Home Ownership Month. So you would have, some touches to reach out to people about, a lunch and learn maybe that you're gonna do for, the month of June. And that could be, one of your events. So it could be like a home ownership guide. Has to be a home ownership. Doesn't have to be like first, I guess it's gotta be first time home buyers. But you would tell participants how you created the event. Okay, oh, that was actually for me. So, I know, a couple of our vendors here, or we call them vendors or affiliates, they love syncing up with our agents and helping provide classes. So you can invite people here. This is part of what you pay for with your office fee, is being able to have like a training room. So if you team up with like a vendor and they want to help you discuss like the whole buying process. I feel like some of what Alex just did was, they had a pretty good turnout. And he teamed up with Jennifer Shields, one of our affiliates, she's a fund officer. And, so like things like that are gonna help you, have things for your 36 touch plan. Okay, so you're planning in advance, so for the year.
We're doing messages of the city. For example, one call my birthday call.
Yeah, so we were talking about how you could use the board method too.
Yeah.
So if someone, was recently on vacation, or maybe you're just seeing if they have a vacation plan. So that could be like one of the, one is like, hey, do you have any trips coming up this year? That meets your needs. So, well, my cousin's getting married, so probably the end of May, I think we're gonna go. This is what's happening now. We're gonna go sometime at the end of May, so I haven't booked it yet, but it'll be in like the Albuquerque area. Oh, Albuquerque, is that where they have like the hot air balloons? And I've heard of that, and then you just kind of get to talking with them.
Right.
And you might learn something. Yeah, like maybe they're like, oh, I love hot air balloons. It's, I don't know, how we can buy. I don't know. So you just kind of are looking for little tidbits to find ways to relate to people. So, one would be a birthday call, that would be easy. For a phone call. Another phone call could just be like a seasonal call. Or a phone call about an event you have coming up. So you're gonna do an event, you're gonna call. You can always do a call, for certain things like in the fall, you wanna make sure you, get your HVAC tune up. One of our affiliates, Gerard, Heating and Cooling, they are offering, free tune ups. Is that something that you think you'd be interested in? I can link you up with them. And then they're say, oh, we already have a membership with, we're like, oh my gosh, really for free? Like, yeah, they're an affiliate of ours, and this is part of the service that they want to provide to our clients. Great, what's your email address? And I'll email you info. So then you just gather their email address.
Right. That means our requirement.
This is really just an activity to kind of get you thinking. Right, or, in the fall, if you want to maybe call people and talk about, getting their gutters cleaned out. It's a great time to get your gutters cleaned out, because before you know it, it's gonna be freezing in December, and sometimes I feel like people forget about their gutters, so they could just be in touch, it's a service. You want me to email you, my guides to prep your home for winter, anything. Some stuff is like, you already have it somewhere else, but man, there's a lot of really good stuff you can go and create your own, your own, template or something. Put especially if you do a lot of it on the front end. And
It's
just,
that,
Kate, Beck said is really good with her touches. I honestly don't have it set up, so she's gonna help me. So I was gonna have her talk to me, and then I was like, okay, great, now let's get you doing advice on this, Kate.
right, so how far out can you?
I mean, what do you mean? Like how long for them to last? Or I think they're usually a year.
So it just sends it out to just automatically.
You can create your own, or you can use some that are already set up. Actually, we'll pull this up here in a minute too. All right, so I'll let you work on that for a sec, and let me get my command pulled back up too. And I'll show you. All right. There we go. Okay, how are you doing? I like it.
I was putting all my photos. And then I'm thinking that, I put it off that, I should spread it. Oh, because I'm thinking about the quarter, where, yeah, like, quarter, yeah. So the first one would be, like, there's that top of the year, like, so that- and then those are, so my spring, and then my children, and spring, my offer, my spring. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And then for third, it would be a concept invited to my first event. And then working with you, like, this is what we like later in the year. And mention like the first that would be your house. Maybe your car was the rest of the house.
Just winter prep. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, it's say winterizing. Cause you gotta like remove your hoses and certain things like that.
Yeah.
Or frost.
Rather than pool. But then I will also, if I'm gonna have another event, it would probably be for the holidays.
Yeah.
What I just go down.
Very good. So for goal setting to the next. Yes. What?
I realized that none of this phone calls has been to the real estate.
Oh, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Because that's what your social media is gonna be for too. And, if you are someone that works with people that know you well enough to know that you're a realtor, you don't have to tell people all the time. Like, yeah, they just are gonna know, and reaching out to them, is an opening, an olive branch per se, for them to talk to you about real estate. I think every function I go to, someone asks me about real estate. I don't bring it up. So just getting in a conversation with them, they're probably gonna bring it up themselves. How's the market? How's it going? Yeah. All right, so goal setting to the now. If you have 200 contacts in your database and you put them all on a 36 touch plan, how many touches is that per year? 200. 600 something. 6,000. Right? So 200 contacts times 36. 7,200. So that would be your touches for the whole year. Now a touch plan is a lot of it's automated. So 7,200 touches. It might feel exciting, or it might feel a little overwhelming. Thinking of how many touches that is, just 200 contacts. So in the one thing, which is the first book I read, that Gary Keller and Jay Papasan wrote, they explained that we need a big why and to think big. When things get overwhelming, because sometimes they do in real estate, because there's a lot that you can do. Like you're an entrepreneur. You can do like 100 different kinds of events. You could send 100 different kinds of emails, you know. You could set your social media up one way or this way or marketing. So there's always going to be things to get you squirrely. And the one thing they talk about focusing on, the one thing that would make your life easier or better if you perfected that one thing. Or got that one thing done. That's not verbatim what the phrase is, but that's the idea of thinking big but focusing small.
Yeah, that's easier for me. And that's why I'm laughing, because the only thing is to make it to like.
Yeah, yeah. So if you did that one thing, it would make all those other things so much easier for you. So talking about database, we decided we're gonna say database. Having your database set up on a 36 touch plan could be a one thing to create more business for you that would make it easier to create business. It's already a plan.
Right.
So I went ahead and I did go into Smart Plans in Command just to kind of show you how there's so many already created. And so these are, different agents or whatnot. So I have this year, they created 6 months. I'm just looking. That would be someone that needs your open house. I'm just looking. But they gave you their email so you can add, them to the Smart Plan. So if I added this Smart Plan, I downloaded it to my library or my Smart Plan up here. This is the library. So these are all. Yeah. So you can search certain things. But once you have it downloaded, then you can add that when you have that contact in, then you can add the Smart Plan to them, to that person. I'll show you. So in the book, The One Thing, they also share the way to get there is to break down our someday goals into smaller and smaller goals until we get to a daily goal and a right now goal. They call this goal setting to the now. So for a 36 touch to convert, we are already starting at the 1 year goal. So that's 36 touches in an entire year is that time frame. So we intend to touch every contact in our database at least 36 times in the next year. And to stay motivated to keep up with your touches, remember that every touch is getting you closer to your someday goal, which feeds your big why. So your big why is going to be something that gives you butterflies, like being able to donate $10,000 at the end of the year to your favorite charity. Being able to have a legacy of 30 doors, so you have a rental portfolio that you can retire at 60. so everyone's big why is gonna be different, and, you know, my big why is to create a legacy in our family. And my legacy and my story would be that, you know, it wasn't a collar job or that it wasn't, like, I never had to worry about money for my family members, never had to worry about money. And that's not bragging, that's just a big goal.
Yeah.
That if somebody needed to borrow money, they could, or, you know, so that was my legacy, that, to build financial wealth through real estate and rentals and things like that too. It's still there. I haven't accomplished it yet, but it's my big why. So eventually in real estate, I'll have rental properties and then I won't just focus on selling it. I'll have that income there. And then I'll have properties that I can get down. It's my legacy to get them down to my daughter or son or nephew, whatever. That's right. So basically those 7,200 touches are how you're gonna get to your someday goal. Okay.
So, I think I'm behind on my slides. Goal setting to the now, planning your touches. So I opened up the smart plans. You have command and everything, right? Like you've been in there a little bit so far? Not yet? Okay. So those smart plans, you're gonna combine smart plans to create the 36 touches for your contacts. And there are already 36 touch plans in here. There's nothing you have to like recreate for real. So I'm sure if I looked up 36 touch, it's in here, or the 12 direct emails for clients. So then that could be a touch. You can kind of there you go. They always say to teach a class that you want to get better. 36 touch for referral agent partners. So that's for if you want to create better relationships with agents around the country or the world. That would be some of the type of agents. So you could promote your other Williams app and add it to a birthday. Also, so, yeah. So she has these three, which is 6, 5, 6. So really kind of getting in here and finding something that works for you. So then this will give you notifications when you set someone up on like this seller campaign. So it'll send you a notification. That's why it's important to go to Canada to call them immediately. But that's
of creating the touch task, so like a value letter. So you're sending them some type of letter sharing like your value and why they should listen to you. Oh, why you should work with a realtor. Make a call. Hey, so I sent you a letter, in your email. I just want to make sure that you knew to go in there and look for it, let me know anything, if you have any questions. So what is it for a seller that has already agreed to work with for like? Like a FISBO. Okay. Yeah, for someone that you know that is thinking about selling in the future. Okay. Sometimes you'll have someone come to an open house and say, well, I gotta sell my house. And then they give you their email address. Right. So you know that they gotta sell eventually. All right. So that's where you would add them to a smart plan. You have to have an email address for smart plans. All right.
Have you added any contacts yet?
Yes, for my, well, I mean, my husband. Yeah, you have that. So you know how to do that.
That's pretty easy. All right, so how was your thinking changed and what ideas or mindsets are new based on what we've talked about today?
I guess.
Good. You see some things you would implement,
Yeah,
not as scary.
yeah. And I
A plan.
didn't get as much right anymore, but it just really helped break down how. Because I feel like me, lead generation is decisions that will be easy versus called, I guess, for place
Yeah.
versus just being business. Business.
Yes.
And then they convert to projects.
Yeah. And which one do you think you're better at? Just that initial contact?
I don't have to open up. I'm just like, hey.
Yeah.
And then so I don't struggle with that. I just be more open. I know it's really what it's about.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But this has changed my perspective.
Yeah. Some different opportunities and ways to stay connected. Good. Was there anything that was meaningful today? Any ahas that were meaningful? Did you feel some kind of way? Just anything that was meaningful. What do you feel differently about? I mean, you kind of answered that a little bit.
Yeah.
The seeds, turn into the plants within 3 months. Yeah. Kind of idea. And then what actions will you take?
So I would say those.
Yeah, like once you get that lead, then like I put them in, then what?
Yeah.
Right? So you're gonna be setting eight.
Yes.
Cool. Then what tools, models, or systems will you use? And how will that make you account? We talked about this. Yeah, so when you put someone on a smart plan, it's gonna send you a task notification.
Right.
So that's gonna hold you accountable, because you're gonna have like 1,000 task notifications, and then you're like, no, I gotta go there. Like, that's painful for me when I see that I have all those notifications and someone that I did contact or, whatnot. And I always like to think, like, I think about real estate every day.
Yeah.
Now, other people out there, potential clients, they're not thinking about it every day. And if they are, they should become a real estate insurance. So it's your job to make those contacts and connections with them, because you're thinking about real estate every day. You're waking up, you're looking at your command, see who has a birthday next week, who you need to send a birthday card out to. Send a text to someone to remind them that their home warranty is almost up, because it's their 1-year home anniversary. So command is gonna be your accountability partner. All right. And your success system. So, daily success system. So how many of your 10 conversations, and then how many contacts did you add? And then how many handwritten notes? And I think handwritten notes is one that's kind of hard for people, because probably haven't done that ever, maybe.
I like writing.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. 10, 5, 1, the social media engagement. Do you remember what 10, 5, and 1 stand for? 10, yeah, comments or likes, interactions. 5, just think a little deeper than just commenting on someone's post.
Or
5 messages,
private message.
private messages, and one a day post.
Posts. Okay.
And there are even social media engagement posts, like a plan, is because you don't want to post about real estate every day.
Right.
You can just use the Ford method. You talk about your family in one post, and then the next day you talk about occupation, which you're a realtor, and then recreation. Oh, I went to my first pickleball practice today, or next week I have it going on. Or, hey, does anybody have any interest in pickleball? I know it's all the craze. Anybody try it yet? Like it, you
Just spark up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then enrichments, I honestly don't know what that is. So sorry. I was gonna say. So I engage, this is your affirmation to stay positive. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. Want to say it together?
Yeah.
Okay. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. It'd be a good one to like write down. I used to keep little post-its on my laptop.
Yeah.
Right here. I haven't done that in a long time. That'd be a good one to have there.
I went to her, clarity, priorities, and focus. And it ties into what you just talked about, having that one main focus.
Yeah.
That will,
The one thing.
the one thing that will.
Yes, there's a phrase, I should know it. Bad, a little bit. Okay, so, just remember you can use the smart plans, you can also use Twilio in command, and that's gonna be where automated text can come through, on your behalf. And then Twilio. You can help with that too, for sure. There's also a question mark at the top, right of command, and you can kind of ask questions up here. Go here, there's a drop down. So you can, if you have questions about opportunities. So let's say, you have someone that you know that wants to buy in a few months, you put them in as an opportunity as a buyer. And maybe they have an idea of what they want to spend, and you can put in, 300,000. And that's gonna create over time a pipeline for you. And then you could set them up on a smart plan for buyer 3 months. And then they're getting drip campaigns sent to them based on a buyer.
For 3 months, and then
Yeah, there's all kinds of different smart plans that you can just set up. So that question mark, there's like guided tours that can take you through everything also. So you don't have to sit in a class, like, oh, I couldn't make it to that class, like, it's just not a good enough excuse. As there's guided tours on here too. You can even do like just chat with support. You can reach out to support, and then you can search in KW University too. Maybe if you want to search open houses or for sale by owners.
All right. And this one's in class is meant to be like 3 hours long. Role model, role play, it says to do it for 20 minutes. Now,
Before you make calls, you have to have a call list.
Right.
You have to know who you're calling. So you have some preparation time. So before you start lead gen, whether it's going on Facebook, like who are you contacting on Facebook? How will you know that you contacted the right people for that day so you can track? So there's like for social media, there's something called DTD2 or RTD2. Yeah, so it's gonna, I don't remember what it's saying, database something or other. But that is a system where it's alphabetized, and you can set it up on your Facebook to actually, where you categorize everybody by like last name, which I hate when people use like your names or their real names. So like never find them. So. Custom list. There we go. So I made custom lists in my Facebook, EMU, that's Bellevue people, Sherman Gang, that's people on my street. These are more random kind of these Bellevue for 10 years. Referral partner agents. So if you wanted to send out a Facebook post, if you just go to them, then you could high school friends. I kind of just like add people as I add folks. But this is the D2D2, Y and Z, T and J. So go in, you're calling your S's and your U's, or you're contacting them or whatnot. So you just go through the list, go to Jennifer's, and go ahead and do that for your social media. So then you have it's organized.
Yeah.
So you did your 10 interactions, and maybe you message the next person. Cool.
Yeah.
Shoot, I like that.
Yeah. It's organized, it's possible.
So DTD2. And we make sure we get you that list. So that could be easy. Prepare your conversation list. Who is
there's no way, like it's already past our time and it's like 45 minutes of lead gen conversations. So after you have your conversation where you're contacting, hi, how are you? Sorry. Oh, you're good. So after you have made those contacts, you want to go into command and you want to work on updating your contacts and follow up. So like for open house, for instance, immediately putting people that you got from the open house, like sit down and put them in after the open house. Or while you're at the open house, just be entering them in. And then you can set them up on an open house smart planning campaign like immediately that day.
Yeah.
And that would be some of your contacts.
Now. I know they have a sign.
It should.
Yeah. Are you asking for the?
I do. Yeah. It depends. I feel like most people fill it out. It's sometimes people are like, well, have them give it to you because then they're less likely to lie.
Oh, yeah.
To give you like one phone number off or something, but I mean, at the end of the day, an open house is a great way to build a relationship with someone. So even if they gave the wrong email address or something, if you have your Facebook profile and your Google business page or certain things set up, they're gonna have your business card or your open house printout. Make sure you hand it to them before they leave. Like, there's just you want to get them to sign in. You could do like a online sign in. You could have them sign like a Google form. I like to get their info if I can. If they're working with a real estate agent, or not, I don't really ask that, but just like, how did you hear about our open house? That's huge. Because you need to know what's working.
Right.
So if they say I saw it on Zillow, then all right, well, Zillow is still not gonna hate them too much. They're helping me market my open house. So the follow-up is huge. There's a saying, the fortune is in the follow-up. And then training gets better with feedback. Oh, they could have put my name and stuff in there. But yeah, if you want to give some feedback, you could scan the barcode and give feedback on the course or myself, Sarah. And yeah, they could put all of our names and stuff in there. So what's the most important job as a real estate agent? We've talked a lot about it in the last probably several courses. So this was about following up with our lead generation.
I was gonna say that.
That's right. However, lead generation is for you though. So we've talked about calls and texts and emails and Facebook and messaging people on Facebook. Chad and I like to do networking events, go to networking events
Cars and go out have nice dinner.
for free. Yeah, so good. So I mean, for myself, it's a lot of sphere of influence. So that's my lead gen. It's a lot of social media. I had somebody reach out to me last week to help sell her uncle's condo, and I mean, I don't think she really ever participates in any of my posts or anything, but she knows I'm a real estate agent, and she reached out to me.
And that's how she found it.
Stay top of mind. I mean, we know each other from high school and stuff, but we don't hang out together. That's the only way that she knows is because I post. Yeah. Cool.
that, I'll kind of just chat a little bit more. So your daily lead generation is gonna consist of 3 parts. So preparing your call list, maybe you're getting your snacks and your water, whatever you need. Because you don't need to be getting up making excuses constantly. You need to sit down for that hour, 2 hours, however you're choking it down, and you'll write the names down and generate a list, or have them organized like how we were just showing in Facebook. How I have them, I go to friends, and then I go to my lists, my custom list. And then maintaining it. So when you update your contacts in your database, maybe someone moved, maybe they got married and their last name is different now. But you'll just be adding that additional information that you learned from your conversations. Maybe you learned where they work. Maybe you didn't know that they worked at P&G. So there's an area to fill out where their employer is in command. And they make it real fun. You can see like the percentage. You can like see like for your contact. I love that. So you would prepare your call list and track it that you had made a contact or not, or did you leave a message? Did you set an appointment with that contact? That's always the goal, is to be able to set an appointment. Now, it's not going to happen maybe 3 months down the road, or maybe a year, but you always want to track appointments too, based on the contacts that you made.
Is this something
You guys should have it.
also we have to write?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You can use this. Okay. And then once you write everything down, then you can update it in command. That way you're not trying to, it's a little swirly. And then it also takes up more time. So people tend to do all their updating and less contacting. It's a way to get you to just focus until you've done the contacts or went through your whole list. And then there's another time block, 30 minutes after, or maybe after lunch, that you're gonna update everything. That makes sense? Yeah. Cool. All right, and then we're just not gonna be doing calling, even though that's good. Real play is role playing, which I don't even see a script or anything in there. If we just go back, we could go back and forth. Have you done any role playing yet? No, it's fun. So I would role play is another one of the things that should be on your time block to do. It is uncomfortable for people at first, but earlier I was saying how we practice on our peers and not on our clients. So then sometimes, it's just going to come out more fluently and organically. The role playing is where you're kind of working out the kinks of what those conversations will look like. They're your peer. You can laugh, you can fumble, you can mess up. It's okay. That's why we all do that, so we can sharpen our skills and be the professional when it's time to show up for that contact or our friend or family member. So I would say it's good to link up with someone on like your level, maybe someone that's new. And are you in productivity coaching?
Not that I'll be sharing.
Okay. So I know they do stuff like that too, where they role play together. And productivity coaching is great when you first get started, because he has a whole system. So I know if you're going through it at night and you're like, wow, this is good to beat into my head. But until things just happen, naturally and systematically, you have it all figured out. I mean, we're just going to keep doing training with people,
I worked at Jeff Ruby's and I was like, I make good money. And now I make great money. Yeah, yeah. And it really is a great career. It's not always fun, and I think that's the thing about real estate that they don't tell you, because a lot of the things are kind of mundane and boring. Lead gen, I mean, you're just doing it. It's
But
not,
that's where it comes from.
that's right, you gotta have people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, lead generation is just that way where you're creating that funnel, and then the next part, you know, they're gonna become that contact, and then you're gonna turn them into a client, where they're actually doing a buyer sale or better. So, well, good, I mean, that's all I have. That's it. And I even looked, I didn't bring any cards, let me see if I got my wallet. Yeah, so my. License in Ohio and Kentucky. Okay. And then I am originally from Indiana. I'm that two Texas girl.
Right. So you're not licensed in Indiana?
No, I have the last 3 years that I'm going to do it, and I have not. Yeah.
Everyone that I've told step into this field, everybody's like, oh, Indiana is where you want to try to do it.
Where do you live at?
Since we like,
And they're telling you to get your Indiana license too.
I've hired certain people to do that.
Yeah. I mean, close by here, it, from what I know, not from Aurora, it's very competitive, because there's not as much inventory, and people don't buy and sell as much over there. They tend to stay in place for a while, and there's already a lot. So, I think it's small, that, like, I have never had a single referral over to Indiana, because all of my friends and family know all the same realtors that I would refer them to, so I never get any referrals, so.
And
that's
that was
why-
the same thought process that I had, but I don't know anything about Indiana, so I was.
Well, yeah, you wanna be where you're for now, for sure. I don't know. I don't think that Zoom ever zoomed. Let me. Yeah, I think I got kicked out. Well, good. I didn't get reported. I didn't say any cuss words. I made that.
They did one yesterday, and it's gonna be this, right?
Oh, no. Yeah, I think somehow I got bumped off. Oh, nope, maybe it was on. I don't know. Bye.